Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today we're doing a special video in addition to my normal video because today is Coronation Day for the new king in England, who I'm in Canada, so we still have that connection. Anyway, it's interesting from a historical standpoint anyway, so I thought it'd be really fun to do a reading of his first year. So I've already drawn a card from the Woodland Wardens Oracle Deck. I'm going to move that, I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to move it over to the side. I'm using the birch runes today. It's the Elder Futhark on birch. Birch is, of course, it actually has its own rune, Berkana. This is the rune of beginnings. So I thought it would be a fitting rune to use for reading about King Charles III's first year after coronation. So I'm going to leave the crown up here, this little crown, and I'm going to turn the card and we're going to get started. So let's see from right now, just get into a better situation facing the card. Okay, so this is the card that came up when I asked what's the card that's going to have to do with his first year after coronation as king. And we have the Coyote and Datura, Deceit. Ooh, this may be a little bit spicier reading than I expected. Now, I know that a lot of the astrologers are saying that there's quite a point of interest that he had himself coronated right on the day following an eclipse. But that's on other readings. So just look that up because that's not my field. So, but it's very interesting that the Coyote and Datura, which is a poisonous plant, but that has medicinal purposes, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, interesting. Okay, let's see what the runes have to add. I didn't expect to start out like this. Okay, King Charles, let's see. So, okay, so I'm just gonna start. We're gonna go through the entire Futhark because here's the thing about time and methods of divination. Time in divination is not measured in terms of calendars and clocks. It is measured in terms of events. So this will happen, then this, then this. You're generally, you can get some ideas of the amount of the time involved, but in general, it's just going to be like 1, 2, 3 kind of thing, but like event, event, event. However, I have found from experience that when I do a reading with the full Futhark, that's about a year. So, starting out, our central issue right now is Pertho, and this has to do with, it's the lot box, and it has to do with surprises and fates. So, and it's the surprises that were always there. So it's sort of, it's his fate. We have just opened the box of his fate. He has finally stepped into it. He has become crowned. He is now officially king, even though he was king from the moment that the queen passed away. Now that he's been officially crowned, this is like the fate has opened. And this is one that he knew was always there. This is like he knew this was always likely to be his future and his fate, but it's still like now that it's here, it's open, and it's sort of like, well, I don't know what I expected because here it's open now. So we begin our fate at this point with for him. Leading up to this, there was that big unignorable massive change in his life, which was that he was going to be king and that he was king now. We have Dagaz, which is the rune of the breaking of the day. It's his dawn. It's his dawning. So it illuminates the entire field of vision. It can be overwhelming, but this is basically what's happened. There was the unignorable event of now it's his turn to be king, and now we have the fate has now opened to him. His box of fate has opened. So now he is moving forward with this lot that he has not. It's not like he cast it. It's basically it's his life. So what is going to help him? Very much home, very much that there's a lot of tradition. There's a lot of he's in his homeland. He has his traditions to fall back on. He has family. We have Othala, which is the rune of the home and the homeland. So he's basically right now, what's helping him is what gives him comfort, his family, his home, things that are familiar to him. That's what's going to help him in this moment as he's now got his fate laid into his hands. What isn't going to help is we have now there's a lot to do. He has a lot more to do than he had before, and that could weigh heavily on his shoulders. So it's the rune of need. It's like needs that need to be tended. Just he's got a lot to do. It's not like emergencies, but it's a lot of need that is now on his shoulders that perhaps he didn't have. Well, that definitely he didn't have before. A lot of constraint on him as well. Another read on Nauthiz is constraint. So he's dealing with that. That's something that the balance is, he's walking his path of fate, his own personal fate. So when this gets too much, he's going to lean on this, but this is always going to be pulling on him to drag him down, and this is always going to be what is going to help him get lifted up. His next step out, he is going to be relying very much on his inner resilience, his inner strength. We have Uruz reversed. Uruz is the wild ox. This has to do with strength and health, and also stubbornness. So there is a certain amount of, in that it's reversed on the path line, he's lifting up his hooves where he might otherwise have dug in and not wanted to have been a part of, moving forward with all this. But he's lifting up his hooves and letting himself be carried forward by events. But he's also relying very much on his inner strength. So let's see what is next for him. Definitely going to be in communication. Yeah, and the unknown, of course. So definitely we have a situation where what is going to help him is that he keeps very much in communication with, I guess, everybody, with the world, with his family, with his people around him, and whatever he's doing, to always keep that open, to keep open communication as much as possible. That's what's going to help him the most as he moves forward. What isn't going to help is we have the blank rune. It's basically there's a lot he doesn't know, because going into something completely that you haven't done ever before in your life, and how many people have done this? So it's basically, it's new ground for him, and that could be daunting, but he does have very, very a lot of inner strength and resilience, as well as the fact that he's given himself to this. So he's lifted up his hooves. He's not digging in. Uruz wild ox, so I refer to hooves when I talk about this rune. He's allowing himself to be carried forward. He's not resisting it. Communication is definitely going to help him, but there is always going to be that where he doesn't know what you don't know what you don't know. So that can be a bit unnerving. His next step is going to be, we have Yira, which is the rune of the harvest, and also time. It is technically a year. So I was going to do the whole Futhark for a year, but there's a chance that this might mean a year of this. However, reading it just as another step on the path, reading the year, it's the harvest and also time. It's fruits of your labors, but it's also a completion. It might be, a season. It might be a season. This could be the summer by this point. Like, this could be the completion of the summer kind of thing, as far as timing goes. But he will be seeing a lot of results of what he's been doing. He will see a lot of fruits of his labors, whatever he's trying to accomplish as king, like the things that he's doing, he might actually be seeing some good results to that, some abundance in his future. Let's see what else we have around this rune, because I have some suspicions. So we have Berkana, which is really settling into the beginning that he has already begun, really, but really settling into it after. This is going to be like the period of time where he's sinking into it, and then what's going to help him is just settling into it. So Berkana is what's going to help him here. We have this is the rune of beginnings and birth. Not likely that they're, I mean, other than his children, there aren't really births happening so much. So it's basically, I see this as what's going to help him as he goes into the new season is basically Berkana, which is going to be sinking into his new beginning, just basically settling into it. What isn't going to help is we have Avaz, which is the rune of the horse. It has to do with movement and spirit. It's reversed on the lower line. So I think there might be a temptation to dig in. Like, he's sinking into his beginning here, and that's what's helping him. But there's a temptation to sort of shy and to sort of buck away from this. So sort of like, no, I don't want to go forward. And that could drag him down, and that might be some situations where he's like, man, yeah, like I'm used to not being king. So that could be an issue where, behind the scenes, he might be thinking, I don't feel like I'm not comfortable with this. But he is embracing his new beginning, and he's moving forward, and he's already seeing results, and it's been a season by this time of the spread. His next step is there's going to be a real honing of focus. Maybe there's something that he's really, really planning for. And I know a lot of people are saying that this is probably not going to be a long reign for him, even though we wish him long reign. But that a lot of this is going to be preparing his son to take this up. I haven't seen anything about this yet. So maybe there's somebody working behind the scenes but we'll see about that. Okay, so leaving that for now, even though it's sitting there staring us in the face. As he has had a season into it, he's going to start really honing his focus about something. We have Kaunaz, which is the rune of the torch or the fire. It's reversed, so instead of expansion, it's a honing of focus, which really says to me that maybe there's a very, what comes into play at this point is, okay, now we're going to turn our attention to really, really, really preparing our son to take over sooner rather than later, or something. What is going to help is we have Gabo. Gabo's the rune of the gift. It has to do with an exchange, and it sometimes has to do with one-on-one, so it could be him and somebody else in talks. It's an agreement. It's agreements, decisions, goals, and plans. So really he's focusing, and what he's focusing on is like these agreements, decisions, goals, and plans that are being worked on. What isn't going to help is we have Ingvaz. Ingvaz is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. This has to do with active creation, and in the lower line, I see this often as trying to force something to be something that it isn't. So there's a sense of he may want to force things to be a way that they aren't. He may be tempted to try to force that now that he's king, and just basically say, no, this is too much trouble, and I just want to force this to happen. But there's a lot of factors, and I don't really see that helping, and I think that could actually make things worse and sort of disrupt plans if he tries to do that. So his best option will be just to really focus on, put his focus not on trying to force things, but on these agreements, decisions, plans, and goals that are being worked on, and also just basically have it continually be an exchange. Don't force it all. Just basically have that exchange, and let's work it out to be the best possible scenario. So what this is going to lead to is there will be a plan of action at this point. Like, basically, this is the step where after a season has happened where he's been king and he's settled into his new beginning, their focus will be on this plan, on these plans. And then this won't take long. This won't take long to sort out. And then we'll be good to go. He'll be like, okay, moving forward. We have Tivaz, which is Tyr's rune. Tyr is the warrior god. What he has to do with a lot is with tending duties and responsibilities. So he's really ready to take up the sword or the scepter in this case, and just really take care of take care of business, basically tending to duties and responsibilities, and that I'm interested in. We're going to get to that. That's really interesting. This might be where this comes in. So So here we are. So the next step after the plans and the focusing, okay, now we're going to pick up, we're going to do our duties. We're going to take care of our duties and things. Now that everything's sorted out, we're going to move forward and do that. What's going to help him is that he just really becomes what he needs to be for the people. He steps into his role. He steps into his note in the song. We have Manas, which is the rune of humanity and your part in it. So what is going to help him the most is just to step into that. He's taking up his sword, so to speak, and he's moving out. This is his quest now, and he's basically taking up his quest and doing his duties and responsibilities, and he is moving out and becoming the king for the people, the way that he always planned and the way he swore today to do. So that's happening at that step. What isn't going to help is we have Hagalas, and it's almost, given this, it's almost like this is the storm that's on the horizon at this point. As soon as he's made these plans and he's like, okay, now I'm going to step into my duties really properly and become, the king for the people, there is this, and he can sense it. He's worried about it. Whether or not he can sense it is another thing, but I think he can, because this is something that might drag him down, and he is worried about it. So this is Hagalas. This is the rune of the hailstorm. This has to do with the uncontrolled uncontrollables. It's chaos. It's weather. It's something that might just spring up and happen, and just be something that is just chaotic and relatively destructive. Either he's worried about it or he senses it coming, but what will help him at this point is, because he's already put all the plans in place, is just to continue to do his duties, continue with his responsibilities, and focus on being the king for the people. The next step after this one, we have Thurizaz reversed. So Thurizaz is the thorn, the giant, the gateway. It's a challenge rune. It's always a challenge, even when it's upright, but it is not upright. It is reversed. And upright, it could have been an open door. It's an open door where you only just have to psych yourself up. Listen to the outside. Listen to all these. I have to have the windows open because it's hot in here, but that was a loud vehicle. Anyway, on we go. When it's upright, it's like an open door. So there is a challenge, but it's like a psychological challenge. But in that it's reversed in this spot, it's like he's coming up against a thorn wall. In the Elder Futhark, the equivalent of this rune is Thurs, which is a giant, which is an accoster on your road. Just something that comes up and just accosts you. But in the Elder Futhark, it's like a thorn wall. It's thorn, the giant, the gateway. So it's a really, really hard obstacle he's going to hit at this point. Something really, really, really super challenging. So let's see what there is to see about this. Yes. Okay. So, wow. I'm going to actually get, how many runes do I have left? This is sort of coming to the end of his year. I'm just counting how many runes I have left in the bag. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I still have a few. Let's get the next step just to see how he gets past the thorn wall. Okay. So what is going to help him at this moment is just he needs to stop his forward momentum at this point. Once he hits this thorn wall, once he hits this giant on his path, and that might be where this comes in, the best thing he can do is just stop everything. He just needs to put on the brakes and just basically either pause his path or end it. We have Raido, which is the rune of riding. It's the journey. It's your path. It's your life journey. It is reversed on the helping line. So just basically he hits this thorn wall and he's going to be like, stop everything. We're going to stop. We're just going to basically stop and not move forward until we sort this out. What isn't going to help him is we have Laguz reversed, which is the rune of water and flow and all the watery stuff, so emotion, intuition, and heart. It is reversed on the lower line, so it's basically, at first I'm going to read this as negative emotions. Try not to let, look at that. Try not to let negative emotions and misery and depression drag him down. So I've drawn clarifiers on this line because it's the trickiest as far as for his path. The clarifier I've drawn for Raila reversed, which is just stopping everything, is literally stopping everything. We have Isa, which is ice. So freeze, basically. It stops everything and just basically stops completely. So, but the thing about Isa is that it's the stillness through which clarity comes. So he's basically stopping everything so that he can be still and really gather himself and get whatever counseling he's going to get, and also get whatever internal counseling he's going to get. So just basically to get a clear view of things and to get clarity. This is going to be really hard for him, and it's towards the end of his first year as a coronated king. What isn't going to help, as I said, is very negative emotions, the stop of a flow of, I want to say a flow of love. I'm hoping, I don't hope, I mean, again, all is this entertainment purposes only. It's almost like he loses somebody, and because look at the stop of flow of love and misery. So we have Lagu's emotion, intuition, and heart reversed. We have joy, Vunyo, which is the joy rune, reversed. So it's almost, I don't even want to say it. I'm just going to say it's almost like he loses somebody very important to him. May that not happen, but we'll see. But even so, I mean, if this comes into it, I mean, he may see it as this, like a betrayal kind of thing of the universe, if that happens. If this is something that somebody has done, if this is a loss, like if this is somebody he has lost, then this is, misery and depression possibly dragging him down. I mean, it would be anyway, where he needs to stop and just, freeze and gather himself. If this is deceit, if this is like a betrayal, something that causes a lot of problems for him that is a betrayal, then it would be the same. It's the same. Like as I'm reading it, read it pretty much the same thing. What would not help him is just negative emotions and misery, and what will help him is just stop everything and gather yourself and basically wait for clarity before moving forward. The interesting thing, though, is that the next step here is Sovilo. Sovilo is the sun. This is the source energy. This is the vanquisher of darkness and things moving forward again. So whatever this was that happened, he is able to recover from it enough that things can move forward again. The ice can melt, and he can tap into his source energy again. He can regain his energy and move forward again. What's going to help him at that point is patience, and taking it step by step. We have Ivaz, which is the rune of the yew tree. This has to do with patience, slow growth, slow development, step by step. That's what's going to help him coming out of this really difficult line towards the end of his first year. So I mean, just like it'll be like in the last quarter of this, I mean, based on what this looks like, this thing will happen, and it will be very difficult for him, this period of time for him. But not long after, like almost right, like it will certainly be a significant pause, but he will regain his energy. He will start moving forward again, and he'll be taking it step by step. What won't help is that he will feel less worthy, like he will feel of less worth. This is Fehu reversed. Fehu is wealth and worth, and it is reversed on the lower line. So it's both, he may feel of less worth, and he also may be doubting his confidence. But what is going to help him, again, is he's getting his energy back. He's got his energy back. Things are moving forward again, and he can, he's just taking it step by step to move forward. And what this is going to lead to, again, thinking about this line and what this could be, this is Algi's reversed. So Algi's is the rune of protection and support. It is reversed on the path line. And so this says that this says he's going to feel more independent, and he's going to feel more that he is able to stand up alone as himself. So whether this is, as I was saying, possibly the loss of somebody extremely important to him, which again, I don't even want to say it because I don't want it to happen, or a betrayal, or even a change of circumstance. But anyway, moving forward, by this time next year, he will be able to stand up more independently than he has before, and he will feel stronger in that, and he will feel that he is able to support himself more than he did before. Wow. Okay, so wishing him the best of his first year following coronation. Very interesting reading. I'm still wondering about this and how this fits into it. If it's not this, I'm wondering about this. Maybe it's something like how things feel. I'm hoping that this is not combined, the two things. That would be very frightening. But we'll just keep an eye on it. We'll watch the progression of events. Hopefully it's good. Wishing for all the best. So that is the reading, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.